Hello folks, John Goldstein here from Leisure Coachworks, going to give you an update on where we are on Dirty Gertie. Last time you saw Dirty Gertie, she was still all raw and shaking off all that baking soda blast that she had. Since then, we've went back, we've sanded it up, and primered the whole vehicle to seal that metal and aluminum to make sure she's ready for her base coat before we figure out how we're gonna finish her off. Right here, the piece that was in there was all dented and smashed up, and all of the pieces that we went and found at the donor yard with all the old buses didn't match. So we actually took a flat piece, bent it to fit, and riveted it into place. Right here you can still see that freshwater tank. We have it all insulated and wrapped, giving us ample amount of storage with the front tank and the mid freshwater tank. The other thing is, what do they say? You know, rock it till the wheels fell off, but unfortunately in this case we had to take the wheels off to get inside and scrape off all of that grease, get down to the nitty gritty, and man, she's starting to look pretty under there. Getting more room to run wires, more room to run hoses, everything we need to. She's up on jack stands, wheels are off. We've got the propane tank in. Lorenzo and everybody has come up with a great idea on how to make a custom bracket, mounted it up, holding that LPG tank up in a safe location, giving us access to run the plumbing and tying into the rigid pipe that we have here that's going to supply propane throughout the entire vehicle. We got that custom exhaust pipe that we made that goes all the way from the other side, bringing that exhaust all the way over here, keeping it away from the entry doors. Over here we have the gray holding tank inside the vehicle. We've installed one of the sea level tank monitoring systems, and this is what's going to send the signal inside to tell you how much gray water you have. Just behind this door, we have our drainage pipe already set up and tying it into the tanks. We have this bay finished off. This is where the barbecue is gonna go. We have this piece off, getting prepped and primered off the vehicle. We were trying to find one of these, but we weren't able to, so man, the guys did a great job of going back and making body work happen to that, making it fit that contour, making the best of what we have. Over here in the back, we have the engine cover off. We're trying to find a new one, or we're trying to find out how we can cut pieces together to put that all back together and make it look nice and get ready for that paint. We got that big dent out of that top rear corner by drilling an access hole on the inside, coming back, beating it out, and then bondoing and primering, and now you can't even tell. Over here, we've changed out all these panels. We still have this piece to fit to contour all of that radius, trying to stay true to this bus's shape. Man, these guys put in a lot of work going back and drilling out all these rivets, trying to secure all the panels that were loose. We're gonna have to come up with some crazy idea how to cut this panel out in this area, because this is where the customer wants an exterior TV. Over here we have another one of our freshwater tanks with another sensor, trying to get multiple tanks to give this customer as much water as they wanted. Just to the left of me, we have all of the pieces of wood that were fit for the walls on the lower section. All of these are the upper roof panels that we put into place to make sure we knew how everything was gonna fit. We went back and we built the radius on the inside with the wood to make sure that when we put all those screws that it was all gonna be tight before we went back in and did what you're about ready to see on the inside. Over here we have all of those jigs for the doors and the walls all wrapped up and set aside. Now let's go inside. So the last time you saw this, we had all of those panels, all of those wooden mock-ups inside of this space, and we've come back, added all the lumber that we needed to make sure that when we put in those roof panels, we had places to secure that on both sides, down the center, making sure we don't have a wavy surface. And then what we did was we came back and we insulated it with spray foam, trying to fill all of those voids, trying to keep all of that heat out. And then we came back and we had to cut all of our path for all of the ducting that's going to go inside the ceiling, giving proper cooling all over the vehicle. We've also furred out the walls This is what we're gonna use to attach those wall panels, and having that there gave us an exact place of where to trim the foam to, so that way when we put this on, you don't have any bulge. This is an access panel that we've created to hide all of the wires and some of the coolant lines that were here on this bus to begin with. As you can see up here, we've marked different points of measurement, right? And you're like, why does this say 36? Because at a factory, when you're sitting here and you're building coaches, mass produced, they take big boards and they do one-to-one drawings, and really what that is if the coach is 40 feet, they map out on this 40-foot board and they pull those wires so they can make a wiring harness. And in this situation, we don't build a bunch of these. We don't have some one-to-one drawing to map that out. So if you have measurements like this, these are all in reference to where the load center is going to start. And why we have those is if, let's say, we want to run a wire over here for a light that's right here, and we know that it's here, we know that we need at least 38 feet of wire to get all the way from where it needs to start from and end up where we need it to be. We have our fresh water for our cold and our hot coming up. We have our drain and our vent right here for one of the tanks. Gonna go straight out through that hole right there. Well, maybe not straight, but slightly. Right here we have the wood backing for where one of the skylights is gonna go. Again, one of the other things that we're gonna do with this build is we're gonna run the wires all along this chase, because when we come up this wall, right here is pretty much kind of where you stop being flat. We have already planned for an angle piece of wood right here, so that way we almost have a natural raceway to run all of our wires. We're gonna come back and take these little panels off, so that way, depending on where the wires go, we have access to go up, we have access to go down, we have access to go that way. We ended up making jigs of wood to try to make it so it had this shape and we could backfill, because, you know, as you spray that foam, you literally have to do it a couple times to try to build that insulation up. We have almost 6 inches of insulation as you get all the way into the center, trying to keep this vehicle cool and trying to make sure we have paths for everything we need to run. Over here we have more bracing for the panels. Right here we have the track. We have aluminum installed right here for that pocket door, so that way when we install that, it's not just going into wood, and it's going to help that pocket door not fall. Over here is where we're talking about where our load center is and where we're going to start all of our wires from. We have more hider panels created to sit here and help attach to the wall, giving us stuff to remove, to run wires as we needed down there to cover that up and kind of make it square. This is all the ducting that we had in there, simulating how we're gonna make our ducts that pretty much didn't quite last. Fortunately, it's a casualty of the project. No radios, no food, and definitely no smoking in this bus. Over here is that hole that I was talking about that we drilled so we could sit there and beat out that dent from the other side. More wood blocking up here, that way we could put our panel here, and we have all of our furring strips down here on the bottom. We have all of our walls insulated. We're gonna have to come back and hand insulate this or spray foam this later after we figure out how we're gonna panel this off to fit around those windows. Over here is where we have that bathroom, the second bathroom. We have a drain hole, we have a vent pipe, more channels right there to run the wires. Over here is where the fridge is gonna be. Somehow we're gonna come in and cut out that relief right there for that exterior TV. We have our fresh water lines right here for the sink. We have our drain for the sink. We have our generator protruding up inside. Over here just behind me, you can tell we've taken that spray insulation all the way up to the front, filled in all those nooks and crannies. No matter what you're exposed to, whether you're in the heat or in the cool, we have the insulation to keep you comfortable. So whatever project you have, whether it's a small little RV or a crazy bus conversion or a little dog trailer you want to tow behind your motorcycle, we've done it all and we'll continue to do it all as long as you guys keep asking us. If you're in Fontana, California, feel free to stop on by. Don't forget to click that bell and get notified of all of our future projects and our future videos to come. Have our snow shower, foam shower. I don't know, man. So back to the rating of the foam. Over here we have the front end insulated, yada, yada, yada. Behind here you have yada, yada, yada. Should start with, and it's like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah! Almost made me dizzy right there. All right. What was I saying? Don't forget to...